Hey, Chris Liepe here with why even after you've done all the tricks and practiced really hard and tried to be super introspective, your voice still hurts, particularly after trying to practice or use distortion. And 3 things you can do to go a little deeper still to fix it and sing freely with distortion, with grit, with aggressive singing. Before we go any further, what I'm going to be sharing in the video today is only the very tip of the iceberg when it comes to truly introspecting with your voice and learning what it can really do. I've got lots of options for you if you want to go deeper with me, but the best place to start when you're ready is to click the link below and join my free voice course. I'll make sure that you have the correct fundamentals down and can start exploring this stuff in a greater, more in-depth level. But it starts with the fundamentals. If you don't understand the basics of breathing, airflow management, and support, this isn't going to work. Tip number 1 as to what we can do to try to sing freely with distortion. I've worked with so many students. The first thing that they say is, man, my voice dries out and I get this pain in my throat and I tense up when I start to add grit. And I say, well, where is it placed? Do you feel like it's coming below your voice box or above your voice box? Is it high? And a lot of you have been following this channel for a while know that I advocate that high placement of grit. And they go, oh yeah, it's high. And then I say, clear your throat for me. And then they go, okay. I say, where did that feel like it was coming from? Well, let me do it again. It's coming from below. Okay, now try to add grit. Does it feel like it's coming from the same place that you clear your throat? Yeah. And a lot of times they say yes. There are 2 ways to clear your throat. The first way is the way I just did it. And that's the way we want to do it when we want to get stuff out of our throat, which isn't terribly good. It's actually making me feel a little bit hoarse just to do it, even those couple times. There's the gruff way, and then there's the polite way. If you want to check your distortion placement and your compression placement, dial in these 2 ways to clear your throat. And we want to be versus feels very, very high. And then when we go down and we start adding a bit of true chord engagement, you can't do that with this one. Hear how different it sounds? And it feels way different. It tickles, it dries out, doesn't work. High, the polite way to clear your throat will help you make sure that your placement is correct. That's number 1, check your placement. Number 2, it's about airflow management and using the right proportions, not just going harder and harder and harder on your chords. What we just did there with clearing our throat, both were very quiet, but I actually got by doing this I'm singing with distortion, and I'm doing it very quietly. I am holding back air via that clearing my throat. Now, we hear a lot of singers, and our perception of them is as they get louder, they add distortion, which is unfortunately true for a lot of people, but you don't have to. And if you want to save your voice and you want to do it without pain, or you want to be able to do it for a long time, you have to learn how to do it quietly and then add dynamics as a response to the art of it all, as opposed to the necessity to get the distortion. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start by clearing our throat the polite way, M, and then we're going to find a note. M, we're going to hold it on M, M, then we're going to go out of that distortion. M, M. Now I am not getting any louder. What I'm doing is I'm practicing moderating my airflow with this by extending the feel of the polite way to clear my throat. And balancing it with a note. If I can balance it, I can add more distortion or more grit by simply holding back air and feeling out how I'm gradually releasing the air with my upper throat, with my false chord area. There's a lot more grit there, right? Make, versus I'm going to take this around to different places of my range. Let's do it on an E. This isn't me doing this. Yeah! That's very, very different, and that's going to fry your chords. The important thing to remember is our vocal cords don't actually have any pain receptors on them. What we're actually feeling is the misuse of cartilages and muscles in our throat, and those are becoming raw, dry, and then ultimately you feel pain. Or you're harboring tension in some way where you're really causing a muscle to tense. Your vocal cords, they're just going to get hoarse. That's their warning that you're screwing things up. So we want to moderate with the good way to clear our throat and practice going in and out of clean notes without getting louder. This is going to feel like this. You're going to be pushing a little bit more with your primary support. Join my free course if you don't know how to dial that in. You're going to be pushing more and closing off via the correct or the polite way to clear your throat, closing off the airflow. So you're actually saving your vocal cords as you're doing this. Yes, yes. Then we bring this around into different parts of our range. Yeah. It's going to sound different. Oh, and check it. If it feels like it's starting to get low, oh. Reset. Check your throat. Okay? So that is number 2. Number 3, be willing to adopt and consistently implement the abandon principle with your grit. You've heard me talk a lot about on the channel, expose or take advantage of your vocal break. You've likely seen the video where I'm doing yodeling noises. The problem when I work with people who've practiced this technique is a lot of times they stop with the idea that, okay, well, I'm gonna do this yodeling thing. Oh, great, okay. I tighten things up and I got the sound. But then when applying it in actual singing, they can't seem to make that jump. And so they end up just pushing harder and harder until they get somewhere. And then they get nowhere. What we want to do is we want to take this feeling of creating an opportunity out of our vocal break and abandon into it. So the example that I sung at the beginning, where I'm on that A, working all day, we take that particular phrase, we want to choose a note to abandon on and go into this crazy yodel thing, but then abandon and lean in at the same time. With that line, that note is one that I can hit, but I also know that I don't hit it very well sometimes. It's a challenging high chest note. These are the perfect notes to practice abandon with. Working all day! Okay, but if I let my support out from under myself, on day. Working all day. Working all day. That's what happens. So I'm going to let my support out just for a minute. And then as soon as I feel my voice start to break, I'm going to lean into it. So I'm going to abandon it, and then I'm going to push into it. Working all day. 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 Working all... Now, that's a really broken up, blood curdling thing. Yeah, let's combine it with what we were doing earlier. Working all day. There's that nice squeeze that we were doing. Hey, yeah, working all day. Working all day. What if I want both? Working all day. Working all day. See how we're using both? If I really deconstruct that, working all day, working all day, working all day, working all day. Clean, working all day, working all day. Many more exercises like this in my course, The Aggressive Vocalist's Master Plan of Attack. But you have to start with the fundamentals, and you have to think about distortion as an additive process. It is not just turning up the drive on your vocal cords. It is adding false chord engagement. It is adding abandonment to an already clean, controlled vocal. That's why I can go in and out of distortion so easily and come right back to talking. That's why I can do a full song all the way through and clean it up and scream, and it also doesn't seem to have an effect on my voice. You can too, with the right mindset, the right practice disciplines, and the right approach. Again, please like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. Join my free course if you want to go deeper with me. We'll talk to you soon.